And we're live.
We are live. Let's just have a chat. There's a chat function here. If people can let us know that they can hear us okay.
Or you can give us a reaction at the bottom.
Yeah, we've got some reactions coming in. At the bottom of your screen, you should. There we go. Everybody's getting on the emoji wagon now. Excellent. We call that engagement. Over to you, Dave. Oh.
Okay. I'll forget the introduction you were supposed to do, Dave, but that's apart from that. Okay. Do you want to carry on, or shall I just take it from here?
No. For those of you who don't know David Kite, he, along with Neil Dudman, started the Day Egg Nursery Owners Facebook group in 2015, which now has over 2,000 nursery owners that are helping each other. And they've been running mastermind groups since then. And obviously, as you know, earlier in the year, we merged childcare marketing merged with your nursery business to create your childcare business. So Dave is now bringing all his years of expertise and dealing with over 2,000 nursery owners into your childcare business. Also written a few books on the subject and that he's promised not to sell today, but you never know. But filling your nursery is obviously one item that's regularly on the agenda at the mastermind groups, and that's what Dave wants to talk to you about today. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Kite.
With that flawless introduction. Okay, so as you know, Dave, I've started about 25 small businesses in the last 30 years. I've even started a couple in the last 2 years. I'm a fanatical learner. The old adage is you can not teach an old dog new tricks. Well, this is the proof of the pudding. You can actually teach old dogs new tricks. And for those that don't know me, I am actually 65, so it didn't get much older than that. Only 1 year left to go. I'm still a fanatical studier, and one of my favourite teachers is a guy called Jay Abraham. And he has this saying that, excuse me a second, if you copy what everybody else does in the industry, then you will end up with average results. And the average result in the nursery world is not great. So Jay is a firm believer of copying strategies that are used in other industries, not your own. So if we take a look at this and see what the problem is, the average nursery owner will run an open day. And if you run an open day, you might get 3 to 5 people turn up on a good day. Let's just take a drink a second. And you've probably experienced this yourself. There's no buzz in the setting. There's no fear of missing out. There's no competition. There's nothing there that actually makes the day great. And you may get 1 or 2 people sign up, but the people that come along have already really decided that they need childcare, and they're already pre-sold. So you don't get any prospects that you can really convert. So let's contrast this with a couple of nursery owners I know in the Midlands. They actually hosted a mini circus. So it didn't cost them very much money. It cost them about £3,000, and everything was brought in. They actually had over 300 people register for tickets, and then attend. They had so many people come, they actually had to persuade the pub next door to actually let them use the car park. The trapeze act that was running in the car park outside of the nursery was actually so disruptive that people that were driving down the dual carriageway actually it was causing disruption to the flow of traffic because they were slowing down to see what was going on. So as you say, I'm a big fan of events. I've been promoting nursery owners run events for 7 or 8 years, which is as long as I've been in the industry. Now, I'm not suggesting that you should go out and do a circus. That was a very ambitious, very effective and spectacular project. But I just want to set the scene before we start. So if we look at something that's a lot simpler, say maybe a Meet Farm and Sam party. So mum or dad is sat bored in front of the television, scrolling through Facebook looking for entertainment. They're sat in front of the TV and the kids are watching Farm and Sam on the TV, and the mum scrolls past an advert for the nursery down the road. She's not in the mood of actually looking for childcare at the moment, so she simply scrolls by and ignore the ad. It's like a so what advertising. She carries on down, and then she sees an advert that says, "Come and meet Farm and Sam at Dave's nursery on Saturday." So she sits there and she thinks about it a second, and she looks up and she says to the kids, hey guys, would you like to go and see Farm and Sam on Saturday? And the response is, what, the real Farm and Sam? Yes, the real Farm and Sam is at Dave's nursery on Saturday. And the kids go, whoa, yes, please. And now mum scrolls on down and she taps on the link and she books the ticket. And now you have your first contact. It's somebody who is looking for entertainment, who wants to come on, and guess what? The kids are not going to let mum forget. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about engaging the family, somebody who's looking for entertainment or some other form of education, and we're going to run an event. And the good thing about an event is it's on a particular time and a particular date, and you have to make a decision. Very often we procrastinate. So if you're looking for childcare, you might leave it till next week or the week after or the week after. But because you're running an event, there is a particular time and date, and you have to make a decision. And we're really, really good at not making decisions. However, because the event is on a specific time and date, you have to decide, do I want to go to that or do you not want to go to that? So mum books the tickets and you now have a new contact. Contrast this to the open day, as we referred to before. Mum and dad know that they're going along to an open event, and the staff and the owner there has one thing in mind: to try and persuade you to come to their nursery. You're going to be sold to. To give an example, let me give you a real life scenario. I had one owner in one of our mastermind groups who was opening a second nursery, and this was July. The nursery was opening in September, and she had 2 children registered. So she followed our suggestion, and she created a Saturday morning event. It was an animal encounter, and there were some party games in the nursery and in the garden. So she did the marketing as we suggested. She did leaflets, she did Facebook ads, all those things that we can help with. And she signed up 17 people registered for a free ticket-only event. So it's really important. The importance of the ticket is that you actually get the contact details. The ticket is that you get the contact details. So 17 people signed up, and on the day, 17 people turned up, and she ended up that 17 people registered for childcare. So she went, in the space of about 2 hours, she went from 2 children to 19 in 2 hours. So will that happen every time you do it? Absolutely not. Could it happen? Absolutely. Could you do better? I have seen better results. So this is why I'm so keen to to suggest that you think about events. Incidentally, the animal provider was an external supplier, and they charged about £250 to provide that service. So if your goal is to, it also takes the pressure off. If you run an event, instead of going there and thinking with an open that you actually have to close these people, with an event you have one goal, two goals. One is that your guests leave with a smile on the face, and the second one is that they leave with your name on their lips. That's the only thing that you need to do. You can't force or persuade somebody to join your nursery if they're not ready. So all you've got to do is raise your profile and awareness of your nursery, so that when they are ready to buy, when it is their turn to need to choose childcare, that they think of you first. When they leave, let them give them a goodie bag with some chocolates and some games and party things in them, but also a registration form and maybe a pamphlet on what your nursery does. Again, your childcare business can help you produce all of this literature to go in the party bag. Now is the most important thing. The next working day after they've been to your event, you will have two cohorts of people, one that attended the event and one that didn't attend the event, both of which you can contact. So with the first cohort, you phone them up and you say, "Hi, Dave here from Guildford Nursery or Dave's Nursery. Thank you for coming along. Did you enjoy the event?" "Yes, thanks very much." "Okay, cool. I made a mistake on the weekend. I should have asked you whether you were happy to receive notifications of further events in the future. Is that something you would like to do?" "Yes." "Okay. Okay, well, that's because we can't actually send this information to you because of GDPR regulations. So I'm sorry about that, but if you would like to stay on the waiting list, I'll send you more information." "Okay, yes, please. That's great. Oh, by the way, do you have any need for childcare in the near future?" You haven't phoned up and said, "Do you want to join my nursery?" What you've said is, "I made a mistake. Would you like to know about future events? And by the way." So it's a really soft sell. Takes the pressure off them. It takes the pressure off you. And then you know whether they actually will need childcare in the near future or they won't, in which case you can actually knock them off your list and actually not send them any more information. So let's do a quick recap. So you decide which event you want to put on. You decide when you're going to put the event on. You promote a free ticket-only offer. You collect contact details. You run your event, and you follow up. That's pretty simple. So I'll just give you another example of how effective this can be. If you go on to Google and you type Dizzy Ducks podcast, you will find a podcast by Neil. Dave, is your speaker? Can you mute your speaker a sec? I think getting some feedback. I didn't mean for you to disappear, but okay. So if you do a search for Dizzy Ducks podcast, Neil Dudman interviewed then Sian Miller. She was Sian Nisbet, and she's now Sian Miller, and she reports on her events. Now, she had the real Farm & Sam. She paid quite a lot of money for the real farm, and I think it was about £3,000 per character. She spent about £20,000, but on that Saturday, she did £235,000 worth of childcare business in about 2 or 3 hours. And if you go onto that podcast, you can hear what Sian says and step by step what she did, how much money she spent, and the difference a free ticket-only event offering can have. So you might be thinking, I can't run a circus, or I don't want to spend £20,000 like Sian did. Well, that's fair enough, and I understand that. Here's some things that you can do. You can run an experience event, so like an animal encounter, and for a few £100s, you can get anything from horses to, I know of somebody who had reindeer in the garden. You can meet a cartoon character. Be careful when you advertise that Farm & Sam is coming to your nursery. If you don't actually have the real Farm & Sam, you could find yourself with a copyright phone call saying, "Oi, stop." You could do a stay and play. You could do a birthday party, meet Santa or a reindeer, or something simple as an Easter egg hunt. There's something that you can do every month if you have spaces. You could have an activity like baby yoga, dance, football, make Play-Doh, cooking, something like that. Or you can host an educational event like sleep training, teething, weaning, behavior, baby signing. Or if you're trying to recruit babies, then nothing beats a simple coffee morning where you're introducing new mums to other new mums, effectively creating your own NCT event. Or you could get ambitious and you could run your own circus. If you actually want to run a circus, then drop me an email and I'll put you in touch with the two ladies who ran this spectacular event. You can run this event during the week, or you can run it in the weekend. You know, obviously at the weekend, working parents can attend. During the week, you have your staff on hand. You don't have to pay them extra money. It really depends on how much space you've got in the nursery. So the next important thing is promoting your event. Your best channels are referrals from parents, Facebook ads, media posts, posters, leaflets, and YCB can help you with all these assets, you know, the designs and the production and the campaigns. I must emphasize, though, that you are responsible for having leaflets delivered and putting up posters, anything local. So we can help you with design, but you are responsible for actually physically making them and distributing. The done for you really should be called done with you, because it's a partnership. We need to know what you're doing, etc. And there are some things that you need to do because we're not in your local area. We can do things like recommending printers, etc. So the next key component to running a successful event is your ticket machine. This might seem something that's a little bit tricky to do. No, it's not. It's just a simple web page with the details of your event on, plus a form that collects the guest contact details. It's really simple. And again, we can help you build a web page for that, especially if we're hosting a website. Then we will create that event ticket collection page for you. So that's it. Decide on the event, choose a date and time, promote your event, offer free tickets. They must register, run your own event, follow up. And then the next thing I want to talk about is the management tools. So it's important that once you've collected the data, that somebody calls these people, follows up. So you can follow up with emails, you can follow up with text messages, you can follow up on the phone. All this needs to be planned and executed. And we offer a Flourish backend, the Flourish backend, which gives you powerful tools to make sure that everybody is contacted. So let's just take a moment to think. So Shan invested £20,000 and she signed up £235,000 worth of business. That's a 10 times return on investment. So if I could offer you an investment that says you give me 10 grand and you get 230 grand, I bet you would bite my hand off in a heartbeat, because at the moment we're getting 5% a year. The other thing to think about is if you could invest £1,000 and get one more child back into the nursery, then one more child is probably worth 12, 13, maybe 14 grand a year. So you're looking at, so on a £60 a day rate, you're looking at £1,400 a month coming in. That one child will pay for all your marketing for the rest of the year. So get one child in your nursery and then all of your marketing then effectively is free. This is an important mindset position I want you to take up. Marketing for your events is not an expense. It is an investment. So £60 a day, one additional full-time child, £1,200 a month. That's it. Your marketing's covered. So I don't know if you're still there, Dave. If we can go on to the tools and talk a little bit about the ticket machine and everything else that happens on the back end, I will disappear quietly and let you continue.
Of course, I'm still here. Thank you very much. I was riveted. I do want to challenge you on one thing that you said, though. You did say it was the real Fireman Sam. As far as I'm aware, it's not an actual person, Dave. But we can move on from that.
So real licensed Fireman Sam.
Aha.
Oh, okay. No. So, hang on. No, I hope children are not watching. That's like saying there's no real Father Christmas, David. No, come on. There is a real Fireman Sam.
Taken it on board. But thank you very much. I think one of the big takeaways there is the investment in time and potentially financially in making it an event. You've got to give people a reason to attend. And when it's an open day, you're at the weekend, if a parent's got a choice of what to do at the weekend, do I want to go to an open day or I want to go to an event where they've got the real Fireman Sam or the real Gruffalo or whoever it might be. Because, parents are always looking for something to do with the kids. And so you offer that. It's good for the community, but it's also good marketing and good feeding the funnel for you. So in marketing, you'll quite often hear numbers batted around about the number of touch points, the number of touches people need before they make a commitment. So one advert by itself is not necessarily to make people responsive, but when it's layered in through different channels, that's when people don't even realize they've been absorbing stuff subliminally, but it becomes more prevalent in their mind. Giving you an example of that, if a parent's sitting there having breakfast in the morning, listening to local radio, and they hear something promoted on the local radio, it's just in the background, but it's there, it might trigger something. Get off to work, whether it's on the bus, walking, car, or whatever, and on the way they see posters or a billboard advertising, marketing that same thing. And then when they come home in the evening, maybe there's a leaflet on the floor advertising the same thing, and maybe at some point in the evening they're scrolling through Facebook on their phone or on their computer. And if your event is appearing in all of those places, it makes it much easier for people to make a decision. Yeah, there's that thing. It's not always just the single item. It's the fact that it's coming through multiple channels that will make people make the decision to take the step forward and make a booking. Sometimes it's just the first thing, but in this digital world, we do have the advantage of being able to contact people across multiple channels. So we want to promote via as many channels as we can. And we start with... Dun, 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 dun. By the way, there is a chat box there. If you've got any questions along the way, please feel free to ask, and we will do the best to answer them as we go along. And if I share my screen here, do you see your ticket machine? Oh, and I said Flourish. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Good, because I can't see the thumbs up now. So Flourish is your hub of the ticketing machine. And because we've got inputs coming into Flourish and we will have outputs going out from it. So if I just zoom out a little there so it's less hard on our eyes and we come up. The first thing to consider, and all of these seem like very small details, but they add up to the synergy in the process to make things more streamlined for you, more able to organize, and more better to, can't think of the word other than rinse the value out of every inquiry. So we have Flourish, and then the way that people get into your events inquiry pipeline in Flourish is via a form or via calendar booking. So via a form, it's simple. We all know that the fewer steps and the fewer hurdles you make people jump through before making a commitment, the easier it is to make that commitment. So we don't want to ask for their inside leg measurement and favorite color and all of that. For me, the key information that we do want to capture is we want their name, phone, and email so that we can contact them. We'd like to know how many children they are bringing and the age of children they are bringing. Now, you, for your nursery, may want more information. You may want date of birth. You may, at this stage, want to ask whether they're interested in attending sessions. But for me, this gives me a core that when I'm doing follow-up, I've got the core information I need. I know the person's name, I know the number of children they have and the ages of the children, so I can speak to them appropriately about their childcare needs in the follow-up, not necessarily for the event, but in the follow-up. So where you just want people, you're running an event and you just want people to book, then simple form. Where you might be running show rounds on the day and giving people tours of the nursery and so on, and maybe that's limited to you just want to take 3 parents at a time around, or maybe there are different booking slots available because of the nature of the event, in which case we can use the calendar where people can select a particular day and they can select a particular time. With this, we can help you manage your organization because you can book people in, you can limit it to say 3 people per slot. So once 3 people have booked in at 12 o'clock, that option goes away. So people can only book at 11 or 1. So they're booking a particular time, which saves people hanging around and helps you organize getting people through the show rounds. So the first decision to make, and you'll see this on our events form when you request, when you're letting us know about an event, that we've got form and calendar options. And the reason for the difference is that if you want people to book specific slots, but that's not easy to say, you know, book specific slots for organizational purposes, then use the calendar. Or if they've got different dates they can select on times they can select from, use that. If it's just a straightforward sign up, then we use the form. And the first thing we do, because this goes across all our marketing then, is create the flyer and poster. And what we want is information, the key information, something that's going to stand out: Christmas craft morning, festive forest stay and play. That's bold and center. The design is up to us. Obviously, we do that for you, but we need the information. We want to present what it is front and center so that parents who are looking for something to do can see that and say, that sounds fun. Then you can add in your details. Activities include wreath making, design your own Santa log cookie, and more. Reasons to come. That sounds like a fun day out, not just open day, come and look at our nursery. So here's a few examples of the flyers and posters that we create. You'll notice on here there is a QR code. The QR code is there because obviously the leaflets will be on paper, offline media, and we want people to book. So rather than having to go and type in Bowden Nursery School or davesnurseryschool.com and then find the event and then book, they can simply scan the QR code with their phone and it takes them straight to the events page on the website. So that's why we put those on there. It is optional, but it's designed to just make it easier for people to book. So the first thing we do is and so we want detail. We need as much detail as possible about times, about activities, why people should come, because you've thought and planned the event. So you need to pass that information to us so that we can represent that event and make it as attractive as possible to prospective attendees. Once we have the flyer and the poster, we then create an events page on the website and a pop-up on the website. So here is an example of the pop-up that any visitors to the website will see on the homepage that tells them they're coming to visit for whatever reason, and then front and center we've got a pop-up saying, hey, there's a Christmas craft morning, click here to book. And when they book, they come through to the events page, and in this case you can see there's a calendar there, they can book their place and so on. We also follow that theme across to social media, where we don't just do a single post, but posts building up to the event, where people have the link where they can come through back to the website and book on. Core information is in there, and have the option of paid ads. Again, if you're investing in say a high quality event, or something where there's a lot of activity and you're expecting strong attendance because it's a good offering, then that bit extra to invest in paid advertising, so people that are looking for something to do at the weekend or whatever will come across it. Paid ads is an optional extra for you, again, depending on the event. So the idea is this is the material that we produce. Everything leads back to the website, which leads us back into Flourish, so that we know everybody that has inquired. They've given us the core information, and we know through them committing to booking that there's a much higher chance of them attending than if you just said attendance is free, come along, no need to book. You'll find you get a much better attendance rate if you make people commit, fill in their details, even though they're not paying for anything, but it becomes a commitment. We also then utilize Flourish's automation to send an acknowledgement email and SMS if you have that enabled. SMS, as again, you may well know, but it has a much higher delivery and read rate than email. People are blind a lot to emails nowadays, but you always read your text messages. So quite often, and depending on the situation in your inquiry management process, sometimes it is appropriate to send an SMS, even if all that SMS says is just sent you an email with all the info. Please check your spam if it's not there. But the SMS saying great, an email saying thanks, thank you for booking. We really look forward to seeing you on the day. A reminder email that can go out the day before and the morning of the event, which again just helps that inquiry, helps that attendance rate. If one or two more people turn up because of an automated email, great, because as Dave said, that could mean £10,000 to your bottom line, just through that one extra person. So the details count. And then after the event is follow-up. You can follow up with show round invitations. You can follow up and say, hope you enjoyed the event. We're uploading pictures to Facebook. Make sure you go and visit, so you're getting more visitors to your Facebook page, more people joining the Facebook page. Similarly, we would ask that after the event, well, A, you take photographs on the day, and B, the day after the event, you send us the pictures of the event and any relevant information so that we can then publish it on social media again, which is another good piece of news, good piece of content that people can share. And it gives the people a reason who have booked through the event, who might just have visited the website and booked through. You've now directed them over to your Facebook page. They've engaged with your Facebook page. And so now they're seeing your ongoing posts and may well, as a result of that, come back and speak to you about childcare needs. So the main things so looking at that, the whole thing is kind of that multi-channel approach with everything feeding into Flourish. Key things to remember about all of this is one, planning in time. To produce all of this and start layering in the marketing so that people have a chance to plan, the more time, more in advance that you plan, the better. Typically, we ask for really ideally a minimum of 5 weeks before the event to start planning and promoting it. The second thing is make it an event, not just an open day. Give people a reason to come. On our support help desk, use our event form and give as much detail as you can in the questions, because that's going to help us to produce all of this material. You might think, oh, this is not relevant, and skip through, but hopefully what I'm showing you today gives you a reason for all of the detail that we ask. It just helps plan things most effectively. We want to use all channels, from email, website, social media. Encourage parents to share. That's something we can't do, but recommendations and referrals, as we know, are a very, very powerful form of marketing. So when you've got the leaflets and you're speaking to parents, you can email the parents. You can email all previous inquiries into the Flourish system, A, inviting them to the event, and B, saying, hey, look, if you know somebody who might be interested, please share it. Do use leaflets. They work. If you don't have the manpower or resources to do a door-to-door drop of leaflets, then just putting them in local businesses and places where parents are likely to go. Again, even if a leaflet brings along one extra person, the thought that one simple piece of flimsy printed A5 that's dropped in a coffee shop could result in £10,000 to your bottom line is worth thinking about. You know, that little bit of extra effort to put those leaflets out there to get the attendance. That's something, unfortunately, we can't do for you because we haven't got our army of drones ready yet that we can send around the country dropping leaflets, but we're working on it. It might come up in the AI session later. And the last one is follow up. You know, you've made all this effort for people to attend the event. So don't just let them go and assume that if they want to inquire about childcare, they will get in touch. do send a follow-up email, send a follow-up text message, pick up the phone to those that are relevant, and make sure that you maximize the value of all the effort that's gone into your Flourish ticketing machine. So that is our system for events. They do work very well. There's lots, I'm sure Dave, Neil, Ben, Nigel have got lots of success stories about events that have run in the past. So
one of
the anybody got any questions?
So before you disappear, Dave, I just want to highlight that one of the key elements of Flourish is that if you have a manager that's managing the follow-ups, you can actually track what they're doing, so that if an email conversation is instigated from the back end in Flourish, the replies come back into Flourish. And if you send a text message in Flourish, the replies again come back. So you can pop into Flourish, even if you're not running the follow-up campaign, and see how things are going. And I think it's an amazingly powerful tool to have, that both sides of the conversation are available for you, the owner, to look at.
Yes, and having all those inquiries, all those event inquiries in Flourish means that you've got them for future follow-up, and it's not about bombarding them, providing you're providing some kind of value each time. So message them saying, "Hey, listen, you know, we've got some great photographs for the event. I'm sure you'll like them. Take a trip over to our Facebook page here." You know, that's not spammy, that's not salesy, that's just providing them, oh yeah, great, I was at the event, I'd love to see some pictures from it. And then it's continuing that engagement. So yes, and setting those, getting people to leave reviews as well. We know how powerful reviews are in marketing, and there's nothing wrong with people leaving in a good review from an event that they've attended at your nursery. It still counts as a positive 5-star review. Had a great time on Saturday at the so-and-so's Dave's Nursery Circus. It's a good positive review. So again, that's another reason that, you know, in the follow-up emails to people, ask them to leave, if you enjoyed yourself, please go and leave a review. It all adds juice to the Google machine, to SEO, to our marketing, to what people look at when they're evaluating a nursery. It's all these little pieces of detail along the way that all add up to just getting that extra extra £10,000.
So as you say, one more child and your marketing is paid for the year.
Yes.
Mic drop.
Does anybody have any questions about events, about how we use Flourish, about the website? One other thing on the web, by the way, you'll notice that we're going through websites and adding an events page, if you don't already have one. Because it works twofold. When there's an event, we have the form to register for the event. When there's not an event on, there's a message that's saying we regularly run events, none planned at the moment, but if you're interested in finding out about future events, please leave your details here. Because a parent might be browsing and saying, oh, I'll be interested in finding out. And that builds up a list, and they're the first people that you go to when you do have an event. We will look on your pipeline and say, right, okay, let's email these people that registered interest. That way, you know, if you get a flyer that's left around in the dentist surgery and somebody scans it, it's like, oh, that event's passed. They're going to a page where they can still do something. You can still extract some value. So that leaflet, that flyer, that, by the way, is always designed A5 portrait so that it can also be an A4 poster. You can go on stapled to telegraph poles, if you're allowed to do that stuff anymore. I don't know.
No, we don't encourage that. No, you get
No, that's the real circus.
Yeah, and you get a £3,000 fine, which they can afford to pay.
Apart from that, yeah.
Okay, cool.
But certainly put it on your local Tesco's notice board.
Okay, thank you, Dave. And that you obviously can drop it into schools so that siblings can come along and things like that. Okay, don't know what happens next. I don't see any questions here at the moment. So if you've got any last questions, now's a good time to enter them in. If not, we will. Is there another session following this immediately, or is there a break?
You click on the sessions on the left, Dave. We have a break now, or we were 10 minutes over.
Yeah.
And then understanding metrics that's due to start in 1 minute.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll take a quick 5-minute break and
grab
and then start on the understanding metrics.
Okay, cool. Well done, Dave. Talk soon.
Excellent.
You can get us from the normal support channels. Okay.
Thank you.